Welcome to Last on the Scene, where we are the very last in this episode to tell you about New York Comic Con. I'm Demetria Cole.
And I'm Marc Womp. Today we're going to talk about a bunch of things, including a board game and a whole bunch of different games. Our big thing today is that we're going to be talking about New York Comic Con, the whole show. We're going to share our experiences from the con.
Oh, New York Comic Con, so many shenanigans.
Too many
I nearly died.
Yes, you did.
Well, right now, though, we're going to take it over to Eric Egg with his pandemic review of a board game, I believe we call this edition Eric's Board Game Gamble, do we not?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's take it over to him.
In the game Pandemic, players work together to stop 4 diseases from spreading across the globe. The diseases spread is charted with blocks that are placed on various cities as the game progresses. If a city has 1 block, then it's not that big of a deal. If it has 2, then it becomes problematic. If it has 3, then you're in deep trouble. Players can clean up these blocks as one of 4 actions per turn. If a city has 3 blocks and another block is placed on it, then it triggers an outbreak. Outbreaks cause the disease to spread to other adjacent cities, and if those cities are at risk for outbreak, then a chain outbreak occurs, causing further damage. Be prepared to cry if an outbreak occurs. You will cry. Also, players can place research stations which can make your experience in this game a lot less painful. The goal of the game is to cure all 4 diseases, which is a lot harder than it sounds. Each turn, a player can make up to 4 actions. They can move to another city on the board if it is adjacent or if they have the card for it, treat a disease, perform a special action depending on the role they play, or pass the turn. If they are in a city with a research station, then they can cure the disease by discarding 5 cards of the same color or jump from one research station to another. If 2 players are in a city with a research station, then they can share cards. At the end of their turn, players must draw 2 cards from the player deck. These cards can be cities, special events, or the always evil epidemic cards. They must then draw cards from the infection deck. These cards tell you which city you must place disease blocks on. At the beginning of the game, players assume one of 5 roles, each with their own special ability. The medic can clean an entire city. The researcher can share cards to another player if they are in the same city. However, they do not need a research station. The scientist only needs 4 cards instead of 5 to cure a disease. The operations expert can build research stations in any city he is in without discarding the card. And the dispatcher can move other players' pawns around the board. At the center of the gameplay is epidemic cards. Epidemic cards raise hell whenever a player draws them, as they raise the number of infection cards you draw each turn. Put 3 blocks in a random city, and put previously drawn infection cards back on top of the deck. Whenever players draw from the player deck, everybody holds their breath for fear of the epidemic cards. The truly scary part of epidemic arises in the many ways to lose. If you run out of cards from the player deck or infection deck, you lose. If you run out of any color blocks, you lose. If 8 outbreaks occur, which is counted by the outbreak counter, then you win! I wish, no, you lose. Players can win in only one way, which is by curing all 4 diseases. If that sounds easy to you, then you're in for the biggest crash of your life. The game consistently works against you in various ways. If Pandemic sounds too scary or too hard for you, then go buy it. That is exactly how you are supposed to feel when you even look at the cover of the box. The game is even scarier during gameplay, and that's what makes it so fun. When you look at your friends and see that everyone is just as afraid as you are, it makes for an amazing experience that should not be missed. The game is balanced in a way that tips far in the game's favor. And that's not always a bad thing. Pandemic is a game that lets you and your friends bond through losing. And even better is that moment when you win. When you win the game and everybody lets out the air that they've been holding the entire time. The room smells like angst and despair, but the air is lighter now because the world is safe and you stand at the top of the mountain, and that is why you should play Pandemic.
And that was Board Game Gamble with Eric Egg. You know, that game's actually really fun. We played it with him.
Yeah, it was pretty scary.
It was pretty scary.
Yeah,
we did cry.
Yeah.
We did cry a bit.
Much
you know,
crying and
outbreaks everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. But you know, on the theme, you actually have a Comic-Con story for us.
Oh, I do. I was able to accomplish one of my life goals at Comic-Con. I was just walking around the show floor, all these stores all around me, and then I just saw them. A beautiful set of glass Dragon Balls. This is something I've wanted since I was a little kid, and I was finally able to just get them. I was so happy. It was wonderful. And I get back to the hotel room later. I wasn't hanging out with Chris all day, but I get back to the hotel room, and I'm just like, Chris, look, Chris, just open up the box, Dragon Balls. It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Well, what I have to say, the best part about that was that moment, because I thought it was really serious, because you got a very serious face. You're like, Chris, Dragon Balls. Just put them up right in my face, Dragon Balls. And it's just like, okay, that's great, buddy. Let's go off into the corner and just, I'm a little freaked out by it. I mean, my story was really just kind of walking the floor, got around, got a lot of cool comic book trades and stuff like that. You know, I've been collecting comic books for a long time, so just going there on the first day, and you go in there and it's like a comic book that would normally be like $20 is like $5 there.
Yeah.
And
it's
absolutely amazing to get like comic books you normally wouldn't see, full trade books and all that stuff. But we actually have another segment we want to do.
We do.
It's actually your new segment called Words with Womp, is it not?
That it is. Me and Joe Brown are going to talk about the new Pokemon games.
All right, then let's take it over to you and you talk to Joe Brown.
All right, I'll see you later. Hi, welcome to Womp's Words. Today my guest is Joe Brown. We're here to talk this week about Pokemon, the new one that just came out in the last week. And me and Joe Brown have been playing it a lot. And for starters, we just want to say Pokemon is awesome. It's always been awesome. It's been awesome in every generation, this one being the 5th. And it's just good stuff all around.
Yeah, I mean, there's no disputing how awesome Pokemon is. It's gonna, it's been around for, what, 15 or years now?
Yeah, I think 10.
No,
10
it started
15?
Somewhere in the mid-90s. It started, and we played every generation game.
Yeah.
This is actually the Black and White version 2 is actually the first technical sequel because it's the first game to actually have a 2 next to it. There's even other games that have followed the storyline, but it's the first actual technical sequel. So that's a really cool, new aspect of it. And with that sequel aspect, we can talk about the story of how it's actually not that bad, or just simply generic like some of the other generational games.
Yeah, the other ones are like you just go through the 8 badges, you beat the Elite Four, you're done, you win, you beat Pokemon.
Right.
This one, they got more of like a different kind of story, which I think is great. I think it's really cool. You're following your character again from the, not again. You're following your character going through and beating Team Plasma like your character did in the first game, but you're a different guy this time around. And you're once again beating Team Plasma and thwarting their plans.
Right, and it's 2 years in the future now, so that's where it helps out because they've added a lot of the older Pokemon from the previous generations, which is both a plus and a minus for me. It's plus because it adds diversity of Pokemon, of not just keeping that one generation that they've always had, but it's also a minus because to me it just seems like they threw darts at the board and that's how they chose older Pokemon. Didn't seem like they actually had much reason for it. They just did it for the sake of having old Pokemon.
I see what you're saying. I see a lot of the reasoning for a lot of the Pokemon. They included Pokemon they brought in Elekid, Electabuzz, and Electivire, all 3 evolutions that were a big impact on different generations. And I think that was a good choice there. There are some Pokemon I didn't really see the point, but a lot of them they're very purposeful and they're needed, in my opinion. I think it's really cool to have them in this game, in the sequel to Black and White 1.
Some touches that I didn't like personally is it's too hard to level. I mean, you're not having that problem because most of your Pokemon are traded, so you get that experience points boost. But if you're your original trainer Pokemon, it takes forever to level, and you're just grinding and grinding and grinding, and you're really not getting anywhere. And another thing along the same lines is the elemental types that they chose. It's too odd. It's just too annoying where you go through an area and you just fight a bug rock and you're like, okay, so I'm going to use this guy. And then next up is just a completely different Pokemon and you have no idea what to do. Where in the other games there was some consistent basics for areas of what you were, what you knew you needed. With your 6, it really doesn't matter what your 6 Pokemon are, or your 5 in your case, because you only use 5.
I mean, I got 6 now.
You got 6 now.
I got
but
6
for the
now.
most of the game, you use 5.
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter what those 6 are because essentially every area you're only going to need one elemental type of Pokemon because your other 5 are pretty much useless. And I definitely think that was not a very good thing that happened with this game.
I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying there. A big thing with that, though, is that they give you the EXP share really early on. And I think they knew that they did this, that you're only going to be using one type in the area. So like, here, just pass the EXP share around, share the experience, make sure everyone's consistently leveled, so it makes everything a lot easier when I have, personally, everything around the same level-ish.
Yeah, moral of the story is trade all your Pokemon so you get easier.
Trade all your Pokemon so they level up faster, and it'll make your life a lot easier. But not all of mine are, I mean.
Yeah, and then another thing, since you are a new character, that means you have a new rival. And I don't even want to call it a rival because he's really not. He's just that dude across the street from you that you play, you play double battles with in every 2 towns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whenever he's actually there, he's just crybaby because Team Plasma stole his sister's Purloin 5 years ago, and he wants to go get it back. But how many Purloin have Team Plasma caught in the last 5 years?
Definitely a lot. I don't like. It's hard to call him a rival, really, even in this game. Yes, you're like striving against him, but for the most part, your characters are like friends. Whereas in the other games, all the rivals were just like jerks. Like especially in the first game.
Gary Oak.
Gary Oak, just total jerk. But in this one, you guys are more friends. I mean, really, it's hard to call him a rival.
Right. Yeah. And another aspect where they brought back Sharon and Bianca who were your friends in Black and White 1. And Sharon is a gym leader. Bianca is Professor Juniper's assistant or something like that, right?
Yeah, she works for Juniper now.
And that's really, it helps tie it back in to make it an actual sequel instead of just 2 separate games, but with a 2 at the end of it. And those characters are actually really helpful, along with your rival, who I named Riku personally, just because my main character's name is Sora. I have all my Pokemon are named after Keyblades. I'm weird, but it's fun. And whenever you go around an area with them, they heal your Pokemon. You find there's all those people in those houses or those doctors that you find. That I do like that now that it's a better ratio of healing your Pokemon where you don't have to go to the Poke Center every time now.
Yeah. There's a lot of different places.
If you're in the middle of a cave, you can't really do anything in the past, but now there's a doctor there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there'll be like you just find a doctor in the middle of the cave, and you can just keep talking to him, and he'll heal your Pokemon every time you do. And that's nice. I think that's a really cool thing for them to add, because it less trips to the Pokemon Center if you're cheap and you don't want to have to buy all the recovery items all the time, and it definitely helps you out. Like I think it's a really cool little thing that they added all over the place.
A couple of other pluses that I have for the game are the necessity for HMs has become less, where you can literally go through the whole game without cut or fly, and surf is just, it helps, but it's not really necessary to
there are a couple parts where you need it, but
you don't absolutely need it all the time on
you can just
as
have
in the other games where you had your Bidoof that you gave cut when you had one gym, but then you had to use them for the rest of the thing because you don't want to waste a move on one of your other Pokemon. You don't really need that anymore, and it's good. And also the soundtrack is pretty good for the games.
Yeah.
They've kept it original. They didn't create new songs that much, but like they revamped the songs that they already had.
Yeah, they definitely made them better. I think they're really cool, especially like the ones when you're fighting like Team Plasma, when you're fighting legendary Pokemon. They up them. I love it. They sound great. They're just good. It's just good soundtrack. I mean, it was a good decision on their part.
Yeah. Overall, it's Pokemon. What are we gonna say? It's good. Is it my favorite? No. If out of the whatever, how many we've had, the five generations and all of the games that we've had, I'd say it's definitely not up there for me. I'd say it's my least favorite of the generational games so far.
I'd say this is one of my top ones.
Really?
Yeah. But hey, that's all we got time for this week. Thanks for joining me, Joe, on Womp's Words. See you next time.
And that was Words with Womp. Actually, that was really great about Pokemon. I don't play it that much. Actually, let's bring Mark back in here. Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
How you doing? What's going on? What's up? I feel like you're now a guest. You're just coming back in.
You're
a man about town.
Weird.
It's just really weird. It's almost like you came from somewhere that wasn't that far away.
I mean, yeah.
Kind of. A little bit.
I mean,
a little bit.
It's
like over there-ish.
Yeah.
I guess. All right, so I guess we got a Comic-Con story up because this is the theme.
Oh
of
yeah,
everything,
Comic-Con Day.
Comic-Con day. Well, there was a huge Pokemon thing that was going on there because it was released close by.
Yeah,
I mean,
there was all the
but we
cool
didn't really
stuff.
go to that because you guys were busy playing it on your DS for most of the day.
I mean, they're just walking around the show floor, really.
Yeah, most of that. Well, I had a really awesome story where I was walking around, and this lady walked up to me and said, "Do you want to write down?" She had Post-it notes all over her body as a dress. Okay.
Okay.
It's like she was wearing a dress, just Post-it notes on it.
Okay.
So it wasn't weird.
Yeah, 'cause
Although I don't know,
otherwise-
she was kind of attractive. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Anyways, but she asked me the question: what would be your final words before you turned into a zombie in the zombie apocalypse? And write it down on a Post-it note and put the Post-it note on her dress. And I was sitting there, and I couldn't. I was thinking about my words. If I actually had a choice with what my words were, I would think that my final words would be something just completely nondescript,
Oh, yeah.
just weird. I like Cheerios or something like that, or like, or my personal favorite is I just wanted to start going braids. No, I'm just kidding. Zombies don't actually do that or anything, you know. So just pretending to be that until you actually turn into a zombie, and then you kind of meld in, you know. You kind of want to fit into a new part, stuff like that. So what would be your final words?
I'd definitely just be like, shoot me in the head.
Shoot me in the
'Cause
head.
I don't want to be a zombie.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole plan is to just get rid of myself when the zombies start.
Okay, so
I don't really want to.
You wouldn't start doing Thriller just because?
If I was a zombie, probably not. I'd probably be eating people.
Yeah, I
I'd be
know.
really hungry.
I don't know. I don't know how they have the joints to do the.
They don't.
They don't. I don't know how that works. Anyways, actually, we have a new segment. Actually,
We do.
We have our good friend Katie, who's actually
Yeah.
going to review some indie games for us, right?
Yes, she is.
Is Katie's indie spot?
Yeah.
So why don't we take it away to her?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about a topic that is very deep on my heart, and that is ninjas. Of course, I'm talking about Cly Entertainment's 2D stealth adventure, Mark of the Ninja. Though the gameplay environment seems familiar with the 2D linear landscape and the cartoonish graphics, it's so much better than that, believe me. Though a game like this usually entails that you just go through and hack and slash all your enemies without worrying about how you do it, this game is all about stealth. You can't just go through it and not worry about who sees you. You're a ninja. The goal of Mark of the Ninja is to complete all the levels without raising the alarm. So now that we've set the tone, which is stealth, which I guess came across when I said the word ninja, but I digress. However, unlike most stealth games that say give you the choice of how you kill your enemies, i.e. lethal or non-lethal, usually one will award you more XP. It doesn't matter how you kill your enemies in this game, you get XP either way. The point is there's secondary incentives that allow you to unlock certain ninja moves, which are cool and help you, have more fun with the game. Now, I gotta tell you, it's already appealing to play as a ninja, but the gameplay in this game is super addicting. It's beautiful, and it looks like you're playing an anime game. It's just awesome. You're gonna want to play it every day. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Each level feels like a puzzle, because you're just trying to kill everybody that you can in the least amount of time possible without getting seen. So it's good for your brain as well as, being awesome. So for a 2D side scroller, it really does its best to immerse you in the concept, although it's very simple. My advice to you is to use a controller for this if you intend to play it on PC, because the keyboard is really hard to do the ninja stuff with. So if you have the choice of a USB controller, use it. In the end though, Mark of the Ninja is an addictive and highly satisfying game. It's one of the finest stealth games that you can play right now, and that's a fact. So instead of going about and buying a $60 game, like with weird stories that you don't understand, like Ninja Gaiden, you can actually get a $15 game with no story that's just fun to play, like Mark of the Ninja. That's all you need.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty cool indie game, Mark of the Ninja.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was
Yeah.
it was definitely something I'd play.
Oh yeah, I definitely would. It looks
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, I'm not usually a fan of stealth games, but that just kind of looks beautiful.
Yeah,
And as well as,
definitely.
it just looks entertaining. More of a thing that I don't have to sit down and play straight through. It's more I pick
Yeah,
it up
just-
every now and then
yeah,
and keep
exactly.
playing it. It's one of those games, you know?
Play for 20 minutes, then
Yeah,
go do some work, maybe.
maybe
Play-
work.
maybe
Maybe
work.
just forget about the work and do the other, just play,
Play another 20 minutes.
and just say you did work in
Exactly.
between.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Okay.
Yeah. But now this brings us over to our main event for the evening, or whatever time of day it happens to be for you. Our our do's and don'ts of Comic-Con cosplay. Now, we've got like a whole bunch of images here that are gonna show you like what to do and what not to do.
All right, so the first one we're highlighting is the one that's currently up here. This guy was walking around the floor when we were there. He's Bumblebee from the Transformers. That is how tall he is. He was walking around, and the best part is there were like, there was a car prize thing, you know, that you could win a car in a raffle, and he was just standing next to the cars, and at one point he looked at it and nodded his head up like that. He's like, how you doing? How you doing, car? Yeah, I see you there. And he's just like kind of walking around, and everyone's following him around. That is a full person in that costume, and it is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, definitely a beautiful costume. Like, just all of it. It's great.
Yeah, the amount of detail in that. Mm-hmm. And then we have the next one, which you should talk about.
Oh, yeah, Ghostbusters. Oh, that's just great. And you got the Hello Kitty backpack there. That just really pulls the whole thing together.
So, yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's really good. They look great as the Ghostbusters. And the Hello Kitty backpack definitely pulls it together.
Oh, yeah, because you have the two normal backpacks.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's just, I remember walking by them, I'm like, oh, cool, those are proton packs, really good ones. And then all of a sudden, Hello Kitty, rainbows, and signs, like the little, ribbons in between the rainbows. I'm like, what? Just kind of looking by, it just catches your eye.
It was pretty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely a good looking one.
Now,
you got this next one here.
Oh, now this one is just, this is like what you say, the attention to detail when people go with, because that's a great Scorpion costume.
It is, it really
is. That's really great because he's got his eyes, he's got contacts in that are white, just like Scorpion. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he also has the get over here, his spike, he's got his spike and it just comes out of here. And he just looks as he's holding that, he's just saying, get over here, and just doing that.
Yeah.
And
that's really cool.
It's absolutely beautiful. I love that one.
It is, that's awesome.
And then you have this one, though.
Yeah, the Wasp. That's pretty cool. It's definitely I think it's pretty good.
But well, it's pretty plain. I mean, the Wasp's not a well-known character. That's more just a beautiful costume that someone puts
exactly.
into. As a personal opinion, it's just one of those ones that you don't really have much to say besides that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, the attention to detail on the wings.
Yeah, the wings are
all
great.
That stuff.
That's impressive.
It's great. It's absolutely great. And then you have the next one, which is
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like the guy with the helmet.
That's
I want to know how he got around Comic-Con with that.
Right.
Like,
that looks difficult.
That looks difficult. He probably bumped. That is probably hot. That is really hot.
Bumblebee one too would be really hot too.
I don't know, because he looked like he had open spaces. Bumblebee had ventilation, open spaces.
Right.
He's in a plastic helmet, and he's wearing. He might have it air ventilated, but
maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So then have something like the next one, which is
Aquaman.
Well, who wants to be Aquaman?
I mean, in new comics, he's pretty cool. He's pretty
Aquaman.
But he's pretty cool now.
Aquaman.
They made him cooler.
Aquaman.
And look at the costume though.
Aquaman.
The scales on it, it looks great. It looks great. The scales are beautiful. I saw that from across. Okay.
Aquaman. Next slide.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so this is one of the don'ts, okay? Like, ladies, I get that some of you look really good and all that stuff, and you want to show it off to the nerds who have probably never seen a pair of tits in their life. That's pretty great. But you know what? That's not necessary. The one on the one there, the one with the white, that's just, she's not wearing anything but a pair of panties underneath that. And then
that's unnecessary.
And then you have
the other one. I don't need to see that when I'm at Comic-Con.
And then you have the other one, which is just a woman wearing pretty much what looks like duct tapes around her breasts. And that's just like, I get it. I get what you want to do here. You want to impress people and be like, I'm edgy. I'm not wearing a lot of clothing. Mm-hmm. But this isn't like Halloween where I'm a nurse and I'm like, I'm sure you are, sweetheart. But that's not the point. You know, we're dressing up as characters, and I don't know what character you are. You clearly don't know what character it is either. You're just dressing like that so you can dress like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's very much appreciated by a lot of people. Besides those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Those guys.
Those guys.
Those guys.
Those guys. We're just going to go with those guys.
All right. Next picture. Kermit Thor. That's clever. I think it's really cool.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
I think it's absolutely amazing.
I like it a lot.
I don't know, it's just the way his mouth is open, like, ah! Like he's calling thunder down, and just like, ah! Just like that, but in a high pitch.
Yeah, as Kermit would be.
Like that. Can you imagine if he does the Kermit arm flail as like that?
The hammer.
On top of that with the hammer and a whack, and it just goes wrong, and he lets go of it, and it hits somebody. Oh, sorry. And just like that kind of thing. But then we have the next one. Oh, this is classy Boba Fett. This is where people get creative in Comic-Con. You know, like they take it like an existing thing,
and
they just
it.
add stuff and make it
stylized.
hilarious.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's stylized. That's really
it's stylized.
cool.
It's really, really cool. You know, there were a lot of cool ones. Like you have the next one, which is, I'm Dr. Roxo.
Oh yeah.
And he looks just like Dr. Roxo from that music video thing he does. And I kind of just wanted to go up to him and ask him if he had cocaine. I know it sounds cliche, but I really wanted to. I really did.
You should have.
I should have, but I didn't.
All right.
He was kind of just standing there, but also Dr. Roxo is kind of a psychopath. So you
You're
don't
right.
know.
You're right. You don't know.
You don't know if he's just going to freak out and tweak out on you, ask you if you stole his banana and then beat up everyone in the room.
It could happen.
But he's carrying his banana in his left hand, that whole thing like that. Oh, I'm sorry, I got it right here. That kind of thing. So then, that's pretty cool. Then you have like the next picture here. It's like
Claptrap. Now, I just thought this was wonderful because I just adore Claptrap. I just love Claptrap. And this was really it's a pretty cool box that he's wearing over there. I love it.
Yeah.
I would have worn that to Comic-Con.
Mark, you want to hear my new dubstep song?
No.
Drop.
Sigmund Freud?
Sigmund Freud. Absolutely
Okay.
Sigmund Freud.
Okay.
Absolutely all Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud makes all songs better. So
Makes
then
it more intelligent.
Yeah, it makes it more intelligent. I'm sorry. And then we have our next one. Now, this is the big point of do's and don'ts. This is a do. This one right here, this picture is a do. This is an adorable Wonder Woman. It's just like, she looks so happy, she's got a little juice off to her side, and I'm like, she can be Wonder Woman all day, and it's just like,
yeah,
awesome.
it's adorable.
It's adorable. It's great when you see kids in cosplay there sometimes. It's just, it's
just
fun, and little nerd's getting introduced to this, or they're going to hate it forever.
Or either
one
way.
or the other. But then, you take that, and this is what you shouldn't do. This guy, we call him here Wonder Man. Wonder Man.
He's a scary man.
I can't, I'm going to be breaking fourth wall. I'm looking at a prompter with the image. I'm looking away from the image and trying to look at Mark.
I don't want to look
because I don't want to look at it because there's just so much hair here. And
nightmares are made
and now our prompter lady keeps zooming in on it, and I don't want to see more of it.
It's just
it's
all
so
right
great.
on the hair.
You know what? That's a don't. People know it's a don't. Let's go to our next segment. Let's go to the next segment, which is actually game descriptions with Dave, right?
Game descriptions with Dave.
Welcome. We are about to take you to game descriptions with Dave, where he reviews Dishonored.
Over to Dave.
Let's bring it.
Welcome to Games with Dave. Today we're going to be talking about Dishonored. I just picked up this game the other day, and it's probably one of the sickest games I've played in a long time. First off, to explain to you what Dishonored's about, you've been dishonored, and you need to get your name back. And to get your name back, you just got to roll around and kill everybody you see. And Bethesda made this game, and they also made Skyrim and Fallout. And pretty much it's like a Skyrim Fallout baby. The gameplay is just like the two, so fighting is a little bit weird at first because I don't know about you, but I always had problems fighting in Skyrim, hence why I died all the time. But the point of the game is it's kind of like a mixture of the two too. You have the futuristic elements of Fallout, yet you have the old school revolutionary kind of style Skyrim, plague is, all over the city kind of deal. So it's kind of like this alternate universe of just weird gameplay. Anyways, it looks sick, and it's going to be an awesome game. It's just like Assassin's Creed, kind of, but you get to do a lot more killing, and there's a lot more magic and fun, crazy stuff like that. So let's go with some walkthrough gameplay of me just messing around and killing dudes. So in this mission, we're at the Golden Cat, and when you actually play the game, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But you're here to kill two dudes. I'm not going to really explain it, but the point is, it's sick. So first off, you have this cool-ass thing called Blink, and Blink is sick. You just, blink all over the map because, you're cool like that and you're a total G. Anyways, so, look, I'm strolling around right now. We're just going to kill some guys, and, I could be sneaky, but, forget that. That dude's dead. On to the next one. Normally, there's always two different ways to play this game. You can be sneaky, or you can just snipe dudes. But personally, for this one, I'm going to make it interesting, and we're going to get crazy up in here. So we're bouncing around, blinking all over the place. This is a scene where if you want to be stealthy, you could drop in there and take 2 dudes out, but I really don't want to be, because here's what we're going to do. It's all about YOLO. We're going to go the other way, out this window. Here we go. Climbing walls and stuff like Spider-Man. Not really, though, because I'm not good at games. But here we go. All right, now I'm catching on. Window, forget it. I don't want to go inside. All right, check this out. We have all these cool powers and magic. This one's called Wind Blast. Just watch. Oh, let's just watch him fall off the building a little bit. Let's just enjoy. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Oh, drop attack. Bam. Dead. That's what's good. F that candle. On to the next scene. Inside, sneaking around. Oh, creeping around the corner. They can't see me. They can't touch this. Watch this. Ready? Wind blast. Boom. Ah, felt so good. Busting out windows. I don't care. I do what I want. Why? Because I can. On to the next scene. I'm going to come out with the devouring storm. It's pretty sick. You know, NBD. Watch it. Ready? Boom. Rats. Die. Yeah. Just living the life. Living the dream. Here we go. On to the next scene. Bust out my pistol. Snip. Dead. Oh, wait. Got to finish him off. Ah, suck it. On to the next scene. We're going to bust out here. Up. Stab. He didn't see that one coming. Inside. Bust in the window for my first kill. Do I go pistol? Nope. Wind blast. Boom. Yep. Killed a civilian, but whatever. Happens. She was in the room. She was in the way. On to the next scene. Check this out. These guys think they're going to stop me. Block. Oh, he's going to try to snipe me? Yeah, that's not the point. We're going to bend some time here. And freeze right. Not now. Now. Freeze. Perfect timing. We're going to come out with this razor blade thing. Spring razor. It's pretty sick. Here's what's going to happen. Dead. Yeah, it's nice. I don't really have to do much work when that happens. So we're going to stroll up the stairs, looking for the second guy. I'm going to be all crazy and stuff like a ninja. Like whatever. And grenada. Boom. That guy's dead. And ready? Stab. Peace out. On to the next one. So, as you can see here, Dishonored's pretty sick. You pretty much can either just roll around and kill everybody. Oh, wait. Here we go. Second boss. Up. Put her to sleep. And right through the neck. Up. Boom. There it is. So pretty much, that's Dishonored in a nutshell. You can either be stealthy, but as you've seen in this one, you can be violent, which is a lot more fun than doing just about anything else in this game. So that's the gameplay. Go out, get this game, because it is probably the sickest game you'll play. And that's been Games Reviews with Dave. Join us next time.
Well, you know, that was actually a pretty good game description.
Good.
That was an awesome game description.
Dave did a good job.
You know, he did a great job, and I think we need to have more. He's more, you know, that in-your-face attitude.
He's what we need.
He's the Dave.
He's the Dave.
The Dave. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's been our show, Last on the Scene. I'm Demetria Cole.
And I'm Marc Womp.
I know it's there.
He's there.
No, just don't look at it.
Okay.
No, I'm serious, man.
I'm not.
You're looking at it. I see you.
I'm looking over there.
Yeah, it's going to steal your soul. Run now. Just run away. It's going to steal your soul.